Hello, everybody. You are in Laura Ward's Somatic Mat class. So this is an exercise class with a basis in somatics. And I am in a Zoom room with other people. So if you ever want that link, let me know. Okay, ladies and possibly gentlemen out there in the world. Inhale, open, stretch out and up. And exhale, bending your knees, softening your body. Inhale, open your heart and lungs, reach out through your fingertips. Exhale, soften your knees and release. Inhale, fill up, expand. Think of like an animal stretching when they first wake up or when they first get up. Exhale, soften, let all the tissue be soft and easy. Inhale, arch, open and stretch. And exhale, bending your knees, softening your spine, releasing forward, let go, drop it down. And then inhale, come back up. Open your chest, open your lungs, open your heart. Exhale, drop down, softening, relax your head. Let your head totally release, let go of control. And inhale, stretch out, up. And last one, exhale, take it all the way down. Knees are slightly bent, widen your feet and shift from side to side, bending one knee and then the other. Letting that ripple through your spine. Ideally, you are finding some freedom in your spine from your tail to your head. Letting that ripple through from pelvis to rib cage to cranium. And if possible, let your head totally drop down. And then come into center and bend your knees and roll all the way up through your spine, coming all the way up to the top. Opening the arms out. This is internal rotation, external rotation. Think of that going all the way down into this upper quadrant of your body so that it's mobilizing the fascia and the tissue of the lungs and heart. Internally rotate, head and tail forward. Externally rotate your arms, head and tail back. So sideways it would look like this, hollow and curl. Inhale. Arch and open, as big or small as feels good to you. Hollow and curl, inhale. Fill up your lungs, exhale. Hollow and curl, inhale. Arch and open, exhale. Opening the back of the body, opening the front. Exhale, hollow and curl, and inhale. Arch and open. And then release that for a second. Circles in the shoulders, big circles. Bending your knees. Feeling your body as one whole body, or imagining your body as one whole body, not a whole bunch of parts put together, but one whole thing that is you in action. Change direction up and over. Shoulders, neck, mobilizing. Scapula, mobilizing. Arms moving. Yeah, and then coming into center, big circles with your pelvis. Think of steering this with your pubic bone and tailbone. So those are making the movement around, big circles, mobilizing your pelvis, letting that move through your feet. So I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see my feet. I am mobilizing through the bones and muscles of my feet. The knee is just a hinge. It just does this. So all that circling is coming from your hip sockets and from the bones and muscles in your feet. Change direction, other way. Bones, muscles, fascia, mobilizing. You can see how much my whole body is moving. I'm also trying to think of not locking my head in position, but letting it have a sense of flow. So while it is not moving all around, although it could, it's not locked up there. Good, and then coming in, and one more thing. Arms up over your head, feet wide, shifting from side to side. So my lower body is very stable, and my upper body is moving off of that. V shape from my feet to my pubic bone, upside down V shape, and upper body, having some mobility on top of that. Mobilizing my rib cage, lungs, and heart, and my organs. And now I'm gonna bend into it. So I'm gonna reach up through the top and then soften and bend. So I'm not so stable in the bottom anymore. I'm letting it move too. And just feeling how, if that feels different than the version when your legs were totally straight. What changes? Last one. And then come in, and let's do actually one more here, because I feel like we've done so much sort of lateral. I want to go back to the forward, backward. So this is a little bit different than the one we did before. Hands behind you. You're going to rotate, scoop, And then just press back, open your chest and lungs, hollow and scoop in with your belly. Inhale, heart, chest, lungs, reaching forward and out. Exhale, hollow and curl. Inhale, pushing back, chest opening like you're coming through you're winning the race, that last moment of getting through the finish line. Hollow and scoop, and take it forward and through. Exhale, hollow and scoop, and inhale forward and through. And I'm going to throw one more thing in there. There's an EYP pose, inspiration. It's like opening up, opening the chest and lungs. So sometimes we need more inspiration in our lives. If you open that whole front of the body, it can give you more inspiration. Anyone out there, are you guys looking for inspiration? Does it work? Do you feel it? Yes. You could add yes to that if you wanted to get really excited about it. Yes. Oh, yes. I don't know. I'm in need of more yes in my life. Maybe I'm also in need of some discernment and a little bit of no.
That is some great kitty cam this morning, gotta say.
There's definitely good kitty cam with Saul. Is that Theo? Theo likes the yes, the inspiration. All right, sitting on your butt, cross-legged position. And arms out, side, side, stretching from side to side. Inhale as you open, exhale as you close. Imagine that from your tail all the way through the crown of your head. I think I'm going to get really woo-woo and go beyond this imagination. Imagining that you have like a, from the base of your spine, from your tail up through the crown of your head, like a sparkler fountain that's up and out. So as you come up, you're like radiating out and shooting out all those sparkles through your fingers, little human firework. As long as we're working with this inspiration. If you've seen those images of a torus, like the big donut, think of this like up and out and around and in. This energy system is going around you. Then we're going to circle all the way around. So feeling the edge of your donut. Inhale, open, and then change direction. Sideways, forward, sideways, and blossoming open on top. When I used to take yoga classes and they would say things like blossom open, I always felt like, oh God. And now I use those words. So pretty much most of the things that I have thought, oh, how stupid is that, is something that I have integrated into my own practice. Inhale, open. Yeah, that's the rule of judgment. Same with my ballet teachers, all the weird shit that they've done. I am now a regular proponent of doing the same stuff. Cross so that the other leg is in front. We're going to do something a little bit different on this one. Take it forward and down. Let your head release. Ha. Let's add a sound to that. So just a couple of deep breaths in with a ha on the exhale. Inviting your head to release some of that control. So for me, lots of control being held up here. Makes me want to laugh. And if it's uncomfortable to make an actual sound, you can also go. When I don't add the vocal sound, I feel like I get a lot more connection into my core. And then slightly rippling through your spine, not slightly, actually pretty bigly rippling through your spine from your tail to your head. Snaking through the spine, nice gradated movement from joint to joint. Kinetic chain of movement. And I'm turning my head to one side and then turning my head to the other because that looks good. So I'm kind of looking in the direction that I'm going towards. And I'm feeling this in the back of my hips and my lower back, and then releasing forward and coming up. And I noticed yesterday that I was having some kind of nervy stretch feeling in my back. And it is possible to like sort of overstretch your nerves. Like if you're not warm enough and you start stretching, you can get this And I only recently put together that, oh, that's what it feels like when my nerves have gotten a little too stretched. So yeah, so you want to be careful with that. If you're not warm enough, don't go crazy on your stretches. All right, let's do this. Back again, working with that internal external rotation. In Laban, we would call this like the pinky scapula connection. I like to add the collarbone into that. So, or it could be scapulohumeral rhythm. And I've also heard humeral scapular rhythm. So you know what, I'm not sure which one's right. Back of the hands towards each other, and then inhale, spiral open, ET fingertips, exhale, hollow and curl, inhale, open it up. And that ET fingertips, one of my ballet teachers, Jackie Villamil, used to say that. ET fingertips, lighting up. Exhale, back of the hands. Inhale, fill up the lungs as if you're breathing through your whole arm, chest, lungs, everything working together. Back of the hands towards each other. Inhale, expand, open. Again, remember that inspiration we had in the beginning, seeing if you can find that, a little bit of that in here, opening to whatever inspires you. Inhale, open it up, exhale. And then we're going to spiral. Inhale, serve the sandwich to all your friends. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, spiral and open. And exhale. Inhale, spiral and open. Look towards that hand as it's opening. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, spiral, open. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, open your heart, chest, and lungs. Exhale. Also finding this sort of generosity through the horizontal plane. I want to share my sandwiches with everybody. Exhale. Yeah, so this in Laban is the sharing and caring plane. Come to my big table and enjoy all the abundance. Inhale, open, and exhale, halfway down. Inhale, share it. Serve the sandwich to all your friends. Exhale. I really like the image, and I've talked about this before, of the corporate CEO sharing the sandwiches. Let's share all the sandwiches with everybody. Corporate CEOs, exhale, halfway down, sharing your sandwiches. You serve the people. And exhale, halfway down, and shake it out. I don't know how that, I always think about that. Like if we brought these movement classes into corporate situations and like talked about what's the meaning of this horizontal plane, or we could gather in the horizontal plane, we could take it in and we can share it out. So we want to find, is there a balance between that gathering and scattering energy in our lives, or are we just doing this? Or are we just doing this? Yeah. Yeah, it's all in your body. All right. Back of the hands towards, fingertips towards your butt. And you can go down onto your back if your wrists or shoulders or anything is injured. So you could do this from your back. Inhale, press it up, and exhale, fold and lower. Inhale, exhale. So easy version, we're here just in this tabletop. Slightly harder version, longer armed people version. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Pushing from the back of the body, feel the soles of your feet on the floor. Exhale, inhale, open, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, press it up and stay pulsing up. Going 1, 2, 3, all 10 toes on the floor. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and take it down. So now I've worked my back. Those muscles should be a little bit more open. I'm going to walk my butt from side to side. Let my sit bones connect to the floor. And this kind of like walking your butt from side to side could be thought of as sort of grounding your energy. You're coming into relationship with gravity, with the floor. Not that you aren't always in relationship with gravity, but you're leaning into that. And from here, we're going to do you could use a towel or a strap for this. Like, actually, I have a towel. I have my pink towel. So I'll show you with a towel, but then I'm probably just not going to do it with a towel. We would bend and arch. So erecting the spine, and then point your toes, curl, and pull your waist back. And really try to release the head there. So inhaling, arching and opening. Exhale, hollow and curl, pull your waist back. Actually, it's probably better with if I don't use a towel, I have to move more forward here. And what I'm trying to actually do sideways is not really move forward. I want to be here in the vertical in my spine, sort of arching, and then curling and really pulling back. So I'm trying to hollow into here, open up my lower back. Inhale, flex, and exhale, point, let your head drop. Inhale, arch, open, chest and lungs. Exhale, hollow and curl. Inhale. I'm also pulling my shoulders sort of down and back as I lift and raise that inspiration chest up and open, and exhale, hollow and curl around your spine. Inhale, arch, open, exhale, hollow and curl. Inhale, arch, lengthen, get longer, feel your sit bones on the floor as you're still reaching up, and then exhale, hollow and curl. And then you can get rid of whatever you've got and take it into a real forward fold. Breathe into that. And again, walk your butt a little bit from side to side. Let yourself kind of pull your body into your tight jeans. Not that I recommend wearing tight jeans, but imagine they're stretchy tight jeans. So as you kind of move through that, you're wriggling the fascia around and giving it a chance to differentiate a little bit more. And what does that do? It hydrates tissue. It gives your body a little bit more life as opposed to just rigidly staying in one place and holding and holding and holding. But let yourself kind of ease into it. It's almost like you're chewing into it. It also had the image of the cats scrabbling with their paws, where they do that kind of kneading on one side, kneading on the other. And you could do this, like if you're on the tighter side, you could do it by bending one knee, bending the other, just letting your body get a little bit more three-dimensional inside the tissue, as opposed to just kind of pulling. It's all good sometimes. Let's take it back down to the floor. And we're back down. I don't think we've been down here yet. Starting with a really simple, easy, loose knee drop from side to side. Opening and closing. So I'm going to open all the way through one side and then let the other one follow. Opening as wide as I can so I get a little adductor stretch, and then closing. But what I'm really thinking about here is releasing and massaging out my butt and my rotators. So my glutes and my rotators and my hip socket. The ball and socket joint, femur head going into the hip, is getting some nice, easy opening and closing and a massage across that. So this version of a knee drop is a little different than the Bartenia fundamental version of a knee drop, which I think we're going to do also. But let's just start here and think about this as relaxing as much as possible. So you're letting the fluidity in your body just slosh side to side. No extra tension. You're not trying to point your feet or do anything extra there. Just let them drop side to side. Yeah, so I feel like for people who have hip and knee injuries or any kind of stuff going on with that, this kind of softening of the tissue where you're really letting it relax and massage through as it rolls from side to side, giving the gravitational pull of the earth a chance to draw the water in your body down towards the back of your body. So you're hydrating as you're moving. This I feel like is really important to avoid those kind of like, especially since we live in that very sagittal, seated, bicycling, walking world, when we get these nice little gentle spirals, it's just a chance for the tissue to have more access to possibility. From there, we'll get back to the Bartenia in a second. Hands on your knees, circling your knees. So another version of lubricating up that hip socket. And you can do this, relax your feet so you're not trying to point and add tension in your lower leg. You can do this with your head coming off the floor, which is going to give you a little bit more ab work. Or you can do it with your head on the floor, just let yourself lubricate those hip sockets and also establish a sort of tiny little arch, curl in the spine, and then a tiny little maybe arch, so that you're kind of working through the lower back, the sacrum, and the tail in a very relaxed manner. Change direction with that so you're not You're not adding tension. You're letting the arms do most of the work. Dropping away any extra tension that is not serving you in the legs, in the inner thighs, and then release. And I'm going to say something kind of radical here, and that is there are a lot of women, and probably men too, that hold all this extra tension in their inner thighs, like trying to keep it closed, right? Try and see if you can relax some of that out. I think that is often related to trauma. So if it's possible to just like let some of that inner thigh tension go. Actually, and then soften and release. And we'll switch to the other version of the knee drop. So in this knee drop, it is the actual bartending fundamental. You're going to drop one knee, drop the other knee, and then, and this is my favorite image, it's like you're squishing a cockroach under your coccyx. So right under there, under your tailbone, you're reaching sort of with your tail and your butt to spread across and squish, and the knees follow. So knee drop, they just fall. You could also think of it happening here in front of your hip, your iliac, just in front of that ASIS, that anterior superior iliac spine is initiating the movement. So it's not where you're not pushing with one leg to come back, you're letting the pelvis draw back. So it's kind of like, if I was going to say initiates from somewhere, I'd almost say my tail and this hip point draw back, and then the knees follow. Dropping down, tail and hip bone draws back, and knees follow. And that gives a chance for some shearing force in the glute, which is like the whole thing moves, but the muscles kind of stay behind and then they join along, as opposed to rolling through. And that is great for your fascia also. So knee drop, pelvis shifts. And so there is some engagement in here, but we don't want to think of like Pilates contraction. We just want to think of moving the bones as easily as possible. Dropping, let the bones move. So it's not driving the car with the brakes on. And then come back in, pick up your pelvis, shake, let your spine realign itself, jiggle, and release and come down. And from there, let's open out into the shape of an X. And in your X, let's first just take a heel rock. So it's an open heel rock. You're trying to release your pelvis, ribcage, lungs, head, and neck. So when I first start here, maybe there's not much movement, and then I start to let it happen. Like I'm letting my stomach relax, like I'm sending a wave and a ripple up and down through my body. Relax the neck and jaw. Relax the tongue. Droopy face. Droopy the dog. Everything is just okay. Yeah, let that go. Rotate in and out. And then stretch into the X with the arms and legs. Really actively stretch out away from center. And then you're going to just stretch through your right arm and left leg, whichever one those are. And release that in. Stretch out through the left arm, right leg. Find the diagonal through your body. And release right arm, left leg. Stretch it out. Find that diagonal. Activate it and release. And then the other side. Actively stretch it out and release. So these cross body patterns, oh, I'm just getting a little cramp in my butt from my coffee drinking. These cross body patterns, contralateral patterns where we're working across our body are sort of the most advanced for human nervous system. I feel like we must be going into more advanced sort of things happening in our nervous systems as we turn into octopus. But for right now, this contralateral pattern is sort of the most advanced patterning that humans do. So in a developmental way. So our first stage is of really developing big gross motor capacity is first we learn upper versus lower, then we learn right versus left, and then we learn cross body patterning as we start to learn to crawl. And that all has effects on our brains. And it's one reason why it's so important for babies to be able to develop their movement by moving, not being stuck in those little buckets that keep them quiet, right? We need babies to be able to crawl around, to roll around, to spend some time, on their different body surfaces, like on their bellies, on their backs, all the things. All right, so opposite arm to leg, exhale, crossing up and inhale, open it out. Exhale, elbow to knee. I'm trying to meet right in the midline of my body. exhale up, inhale, open, exhale up, stretch it out. And I could do this in a very ballet dancer way and really stretch and lengthen, but I'm actually kind of relaxing my feet more and not pointing as I go out for right now. We'll get to point in a minute, but find more the energetic line from the upper right quadrant down to the lower left without too much activation in the foot and calf, if that's possible. And then you could also do this with your head on the floor. So if you're having any kind of neck and shoulder stuff, or head, neck, jaw, just let it relax on the floor. All right, next version. We are going to go with pointed toes on this one, and it's straight legs and arms coming up to the center and then opening back out. Exhale up, inhale, open. Exhale toward midline, inhale. And again, I could do this with my head on the floor, or I could do it with my head off the floor. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Last one, exhale, inhale, and then again, heel rock. Let the head, neck, and jaw release like a bobblehead doll. You can take your arms out to the side, shake it all out, and then just free up your spine. And let's do a moment with theta breath. So it's a soft TH or a soft hissing sound, maybe more of a soft hiss like this. I'm just coming up to say it, and you guys all, I think, know this already. All my class folks. And we're going to theta breath and free up the spine. So you can close your eyes, go inside, imagining that each vertebra has a little bit of space, that those discs are nice cushy marshmallows supporting the vertebra, and that the cerebral spinal fluid is in there, supporting and bolstering your brain and your whole nervous system. And you're just giving it a little bit of movement to help filter that cerebral spinal fluid through your body. It filters through 3 times a day, 3 to 4 times a day, and it provides nourishment and it carries away waste. So we want it to be working nicely. And then also, I guess there's the glymphatic, which is in the brain, and it's like the lymphatic system of the brain. So it's clearing out the glia. So we want to think of that. And if all of these words mean nothing, don't worry about it. Just move your body. Who cares? It's all fine. We want to think about the head-tail connection having some freedom. So giving your body a chance through some micro movement or big movement to sort of free up the pattern of being a human and give yourself maybe more like a tadpole pattern, that big bulb of a head, some juicy fluid movement through the river of your spine. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Just do it. And we'll do it for like maybe a minute or two, a couple of extra breaths. And if you feel like you need to move more things and get the whole octopus body going, go for it. Sending ripples and waves through your tissue, through the apparatus, the soft apparatus of your body. And while you're in there, in your movement sort of experimentation, maybe think about, where do you feel things starting and where do you feel them dissipating or ending? So like, is there initiation and follow through in the movement? Maybe it's just wiggling. Maybe there's some twisting, some up, down, some forward, backward, whatever it is, just letting it free up and imagining that you can let go of control and allow movement to just arise. Letting your body do whatever it feels. So it doesn't have to stay, you don't have to stay in that X, you can mobilize. I feel the need to move my pelvis, but I want to take this a little further. So I'm going to add arms and legs and just keep the exploration going. In what, like, great if you can keep your eyes closed and not even look at what I'm doing. Whatever you're doing, whatever your body thinks feels good, go for that. Maybe it's normal stuff. Maybe you need to stretch your hamstrings, whatever you think you need, go for it. Yeah, so I want to invite you to, instead of thinking about what you need, feel into your body, feel into what would feel good, what would be delicious, what would be a curious path of exploration. Like it's a down the rabbit hole in your body moment, but you just allow that little white rabbit of your internal desire, body desire to show up and explore. Two more breaths of that, and then we'll move back on into more form-based movement. And then come in. Let's do a little hand smashing and quick face massage. Soften your eyes, maybe palms of your hands over your eyes. Think of that eyeball as a big, round, juicy ball, very fluid and hydrated. And then let yourself move your hands around your face, feel your jaw, feel your neck. You can do the 10 little dragons running through the forest if that feels good. Anything just to bring in the sensation of touch from both your fingers and whatever's being touched. The double layer of feeling what you're touching and feeling being touched. Good, and then let's just shake all of that out, shake the legs, and we're gonna go into some spiraling. So arms out side to side, hands palm down on the floor, feet are gonna be off the floor, tick-tocking the legs from side to side. And if it feels good, you can turn your head away from your legs. If your back is hurting, turn your head in the same direction. Spiraling through, opening up that spine. And if you feel like you want to make this harder, you can straighten out your legs. Turning your head either with them or away. So this is actually one of my essential pole dance warm-up moves, because we do a lot of weird spiraling with our backs around the spine. And this also helps build some core arm relationship, which is also super important in pole. So yeah, I feel like anytime that I am teaching you guys, and I'm going to go to pole dance later in the day, I always try to bring this exercise in. And then bring it in and release and come down. And by coming down, I mean come up. Let's come up for a second and flip over. All right, how is everybody doing out there in TV land? And by that, I mean Sol and Georgina and Susan, all good? Cheers. All right, coming onto hands and knees. We're gonna open the hands a little bit wider and the knees a little bit wider, and shift your weight sort of from side to side and up and down, mobilizing rib cage, lungs, and heart, scapula. And often I do this and I kind of stabilize my lower body, but this time I'm shifting my weight from side to side in my legs as well as my arms. Breathing into it, pushing with the hands, and then change direction other way. feeling the relationship from the fingertips, from the floor, through your arms, into your rotator cuff, your shoulder girdle, your rib cage, lungs, heart, your whole body, this whole connected body. And then come into center, just sit for a second in any comfortable way. I need to get a sip of water. Yeah, sitting in, just letting your body settle for a second. Breathing. Feeling what it feels like to be a person, feeling what it feels like to be you this morning or this afternoon or whatever time of day it is for you. How it feels to land. And so as soon as I say how it feels to land in your body, I want to move my rib cage, lungs. I want to move my arms. I want to feel into what's going on in my body. So if I move a little bit, I can feel myself more. That's one of the magics of movement. Movement, sensation go together. Tension also masks sensation. So if we're holding tension and we're becoming rigid, it's a way of not feeling. So if we let ourselves kind of move things around and go, oh yeah, I'm holding something there or whatever, or oh, this is going on. Yeah, I actually, funnily enough, a way of not feeling, there's that song, Everything is Beautiful at the Ballet. And like, it is like a way of just going and you're in your body, but you're in these really rigid states. And it's like, you're going to be focusing on ballet class while you're in ballet. So whatever's going on in the rest of your life, kind of like you can leave that outside when you come to ballet class. And that's sort of one of the beauty of more form-based movement exercise classes or whatever, where it's like, we're not thinking about our lives. We're in the class, just doing the class, feeling into our bodies. But ballet especially, I think, is one of the ones where you get to really let the other stuff go because everything is beautiful at the ballet, right? But I have to say that when my dad passed, my dad loved ballet. And that was the first time I went to ballet class and was like, oh my God, I'm so emotional. And the guy who was playing piano, Hosu, who's like my favorite pianist or one of them, kind of reminded me of my dad. And I also saw him like, you know, getting older and I was like, oh my God. So it was like the first time that like, oh, I'm in this place where normally I can be in a really, whatever's happening in the outside world doesn't matter, but now I'm feeling it because there were so many other attachments to that moment. I know we all needed to think about that for a second. Let's get onto our backs again and do actually the hundreds. So we're going to go pointed toes, arms over your head, the lower version of the hundreds. Let's make a sh sound, like shh. Really engaging the core and the sound together. And legs are going to go up to 90 and they're going to pulse down to 45 or something like that. Arms come up. Inhale, open. Toes to the floor. Exhale up. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. And relax. Fall into the floor. Right? There's some rigid, contained, bound exercise for you. Let it go. And all of it serves a purpose sometimes. Like that stuff is going to help me do my pole dancing. But the free flow stuff is going to maybe help me live my life more. Unless I need to shut down my emotions in my life. Then maybe I need some more ballet and some more bound flow. Ah, let it go. Add some sound. Ah. So sound vibration is going to vibrate the tissue and also add something. And bring it in. Shake, shake, shake. Let it go. And let's go with the happy baby. We didn't do our happy baby before. So free flow, happy baby. Imagine you are a happy baby. What would that look and feel like? Yeah, think about like baby body tension. A fairly young baby that's just learned how to happy baby. They're gonna have pretty soft tissue, very hydrated. Especially if they have parents that are pretty attentive. Thinking of baby, happy babiness in our own tissues, bringing that quality, that happy baby archetype into the tissue of our own body. Soft, fluid, very, very alive. And then from there, hands behind your knees, slowly rolling back and forth, massaging through your back. If you want to take time and plow, go for it. And I feel like you can really breathe any way you want to in this, exhaling back, inhaling up, or the other way around. It's nice to try to breathing in opposite directions and see what happens and how you like it. And then coming back and flipping over onto our bellies on our mat. So I think we're actually going to do a little back and forth with this. And this is my version of an Irene Dowd exercise that I'm sure I have changed in a very Laura Ward way. So elbows are going to be directly below the shoulders. Forearms are parallel, and just push forward and backward. So as you're pushing forward and backward, you can maybe feel your pecs and your lats engaging. Now relax your tongue and stick out your mouth, or like relax your face and mouth. So your neck and jaw. A little bit of like lizard. That's not the Irene Dowd part. This is the Irene Dowd part. That's the Laura part. Okay, so from here we're going to look down, initiating the top of the head. Look down towards your pubic bone. Once you're going to keep curling, and then drop your pubic bone, roll it up through your spine, open the chest and lungs, pull with the arms, and then lift the legs off the floor. Legs drop, head drops, roll it down through your spine, looking towards your pubic bone, and then roll it up and lift, pull through. Exhale, follow and curl, push, and inhale. Actually, you probably have a full breath in each direction. Lift and open, or maybe two. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and relax. Bend your knees, relax your feet, and let your legs fall from side to side. Really, really soft, gentle, and easy. Letting the gravitational pull of the earth can hold you on the ground. So you are being supported by the earth. Not so you're stuck in it or glued to it, but you kind of are. We're not going to fall off the earth. But that it's really acting as a support. And if we add some breath to that, we can find the lightness in our lungs and the fluidity in our body, letting our body just shift from side to side, massaging out the quads, releasing the lower back, maybe adding the head so you're not locking the spine. Head can go in whichever way feels good to you. And then coming back into center. Elbows back underneath you, curling your toes under, lifting up, and let's go forward and backward. So head forward, heels back. Traveling along the verticality of your body. So head to heels, forward and backward. So, and relax and come down for a second. We're going to go back up one more time and do the exact same thing. And I just want you to notice, what are your eyes doing while you're doing that? I don't know if there's a right or wrong about this, but and then I'll tell you what I'm noticing my eyes doing while I do it. So one more time, pop up there and just see, what do you want to do with your eyes? What do your eyes want to do as you're doing this forward and backward thing? But then brings them to me, what does my whole head want to do? And relax and come down. But what, yeah, so for me, my eyes wanted to like look all over the place. Like my eyes were darting around. Anybody just want to stare in one spot? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to feel like my eyes started to go, and I just wanted to focus in one spot to like be centered, I guess.
Did they do it the time before also, before I asked about it?
I actually didn't think about it, and I may have had my eyes closed.
Anybody else want to say anything out loud?
I just found I moved up and down on the carpet the way my body was.
Oh, oh, okay.
I mean, horizontally.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, and I'm not saying this in any way to, it's just a pattern to notice, like when you're doing certain things, what's happening? What are your eyes doing? What's going on? I found that in ballet, if I could think about what my eyes were doing, I could usually do everything else better in my body. It's like, oh, there's a refinement there. And it's like, oh, I know that I need to be looking at this. But if my eyes are kind of all over the place, it could be something, you know, a lot more. Well, there's two types of focus, right? There's like, or at least two types, but there's like really pinpointed focus, focus. And then there's like global, checking it all out focus, where we're in more of an open attention as opposed to a focused attention. All right, relax down, shake it out, let it go. Free flow in your spine, let it go, shake out your butt, jiggle, jiggle, jello body, jello tongue, and relax. And let's do one leg at a time for Georgina especially, but also for me. So it's going to be a quad stretch on one side. If your hips are popping up, draw your pubic bone slightly into the mat. Not that you're super engaging your butt, but maybe just a little bit. And from there, if it feels okay and you want to, you can just slightly turn from side to side with that leg. So that you're getting a stretch through the different parts of the front of your thigh, through the different parts of your quad. You're also moving that femur head in the ball and socket joint. And then kick the whole thing up, half bow, radiate away from center, power into that arm and leg, reach, reach, reach. Superman, Superwoman, and release, drop it down. Switch it to the other side. First, just start with the quad stretch. And then once you feel like if you want to move it, letting that thigh internally and externally rotate just a little bit. And then kicking the whole thing out and up, radiate away from center, breathe into it. Super person. And release. Take your hands next to your chest and arch up, and then round your spine. Take it back to your child's pose. Wiggle around, let go. And then interlace your hands out in front of your head and just roll up, rounding your spine, and take it back. And roll up and back and up and back, and shift your weight back towards your heels. Come all the way up. Let's do a couple more really exercisey things. So onto our hands and knees, taking one leg out to your side. Make sure it's not going back on the diagonal, but it's right out to your side. Move your upper body slightly over so that the bottom knee is in a triangle with your hands, and that leg is going to go up and down. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift it over to the other side. Once you get there, try not to be in a curled spine there. Arch a little bit so you're lengthening, you're erecting your spine, erector spinae, up and down, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back in, walk your hands a little further forward, knees back, big circles with your hips towards the floor, tail back. And change direction, other way. And then come in and let's do elbows to the floor, leg out behind you, kicking the ceiling. We're gonna go for 15, up and down, going 1. Think about the eyes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Switch it to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Take it down, drop it, relax, let go, surrender. Breathing and melting, softening the inner body. Feeling the rise and fall of your breath like you're a bubble, getting bigger on the inhale and smaller. Breathing out as much as you can on the exhale. Think of breathing all the way through your whole body. So breathing all the way down into your pelvic floor, down into your legs, into your fingertips. Just imagine breathing every cell in your body. And then shift your weight back towards your heels. And I know I'm going forever. Oh, it's 10 o'clock already here. So let's just do a hip stretch and be done with it. Otherwise, I was going to get back up there in the downward dog. Hip stretch. I'm going to do ankle to knee pose. You could do this with the bottom leg straight. You could do it laying on your back. You could do it with green eggs and ham. All right. Take it down. You could do it on a boat. You could do it with a goat. I need to learn that one. Those words just take on different meaning if you aren't familiar with Dr. Seuss. Soften, melt, surrender. Wiggle around if that feels good. And then come up and unscramble, bang it out, calves, hamstrings, hips, ankles soft, rotate in and out, and switch it to the other side, same thing. Down and release. And then come up. And I think we didn't spend as much time on that side. Sorry about that. Shake it out, let it go. Rotate in and out. Slide your heels underneath you. Take your weight forwards, knees toward the floor, and then heels toward the floor. Doesn't matter if you touch down all the way. The idea is to stretch your feet, to round your spine. Yeah, I mean, for thousands of years, humans, and in many places they still do, spend a lot of time squatting. And I think those people don't have the same kind of lower back sciatica issues that Western people have. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And then butt to the ceiling, head to the floor, bending one knee and then the other, feet wide, just shifting, dropping, melting, let it go. Soften. See if you can release that back of the neck. Imagine you're pouring something out of the top of your head onto the floor. Pouring out whatever you don't need to hold on to. Whatever self-judgment or criticism you have of yourself, or maybe even of other people. Maybe you can let go of some of that. bring it in and roll and come up. It's funny, when I find that I have been really judgmental of other people, I usually feel bad about myself after I've gone on that rant. So I know that that judgment thing, whether we're aiming it outwards or inwards, it's the same thing. It's that same reflection. Let's stand up, which doesn't mean we shouldn't be discerning, but at the same time, and just inhale, open. And exhale, soften. Inhale, open and reach. Exhale, let it go. And last one, deep breath in. Expand and open and exhale, let it go. And I am going to stop recording. But first, I'm going to say, if you made it through this whole video, please press like and subscribe. Advertisement, it's the way of the world.